Got some bad news coming out of the break here. It happened, I guess, 15, 20 minutes ago. It has been announced and the news has been broken that superstar running back out of Clemson, now number 1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Travis Etienne Jr., has a Liz Frank injury that could keep him out for a couple months, if not the entire season. This is a nightmare for a guy who is being considered as one of the nicest dudes, hardest working dudes, most explosive dudes, a guy that just buys into every single system he's a part of. He could have left Clemson a year earlier than he did, wanting to come back and have unfinished business. Now he's suffering a foot injury. The timeline is 12 weeks minimum for Travis Etienne, but we have seen timelines get busted before. He'll have surgery as soon as possible and then would have a chance to come back late in the season if all goes well and it makes sense, says Ian Rappaport, Rap Sheet. It is a Liz Frank injury, which is a nightmare. I believe this is something that is, I don't want to say it lingers, but I think Liz Frank is a big-time problem, AJ.
Giant. It's a big time. I think like something dislocates, like a bone breaks off and dislocates somewhere in your foot. Like it's a nasty surgery, nasty injury. Like if he came back this year, I'd be very impressed.
Especially with the way he plays. He's pretty explosive, shifty. He was going to be a lot of fun to watch. And now the Jacksonville Jaguars team that we just watched last night, who has some offensive deficiencies, now lose out on his first rounder, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and Trevor Lawrence both had a Clemson first rounder. He was unbelievable to watch play at Clemson. I hope we get a chance to see him in the NFL. I think Liz Frank is something comes apart, right?
On the bottom
of your foot,
I think the bottom of your foot comes apart or something like that. So they got to put it back in there.
And need the Colts doctor. Call that guy up immediately.
He's not in the division, dude.
Listen.
Yeah. What?
I'm all about Dr. David Porter maybe fixing every foot going forward, and I said that just yesterday. Yeah. We need to get this doctor that did Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz's foot surgeries and got them back in like 14 days and was supposed to be 5 to 12 weeks. Let's have him do every surgery. Not in the AFC South.
Can't do it.
Not in the AFC South. Are you going to send the Patriots? You know, Guerrero, whenever he was up there, you guys just send him around to the Jets and the Bills and everything?
We didn't even use him in our own building. Why would we send him around to other teams?
Hey, that was a bad decision, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, and plus you got Mac Jones, so fuck it.
Does Guerrero have an office down there in Tampa?
I assume they just let him ride around and do whatever the hell he wants.
Hey, man, if you want to get pliable on everybody in here, go ahead. We got a lot of old guys. We want to play another 10 years or so. If you need to do all your fucking avocado ice cream stuff, go ahead and do it.
Have at it.
Do what you got to do. Let's go to the 5RNG phone line, shall we? Go to 5RNG.com. Use promo code McAfee to receive 10% off your order. 5RNG's website is 5HOURenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee to receive 10% off all your favorite flavors like watermelon, tropical burst, cherry, peach mango, and more. There's a flavor for everyone, and that shot will give you at least 5 hours of energy.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Zeke. Let's go to Dave down there in Jacksonville on the 5RNG phone line. What's going on, Dave?
Oh, got me.
There's something that changed in that one. I don't know if anybody's seen that or not. A little bit of a change there. Happy for that. What do you want to talk about, Dave, down there in Duval?
Well, I appreciate you boys, but those SeatGeek tickets going to be 50% off in Jacksonville if Trevor Lawrence gets hurt because our O-line can't stop the floodgate from coming through.
Dave, it's just preseason. Go ahead and relax. But, boy, it did look eerily similar to what Joey Burrow was battling with last year. The offensive line is something that the great teams invest in, and it seems like the shitty teams refuse to look at. It is where you win games. You ask offensive linemen, they'll never say that. Offensive linemen never speak, but it is very apparent that the team with the better offensive line normally wins. If they got a guy at quarterback, we assume Trevor is one of those. Joey Burrow is as well, AJ.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're like all the guys that make up their O-line, but you got to draft well too. If you want to have a successful O-line, like you need to hit on some of those third, fourth round guys that become like staples for years.
Even undrafted free agents that you bring in that maybe mold and fit. Because I think a lot of it now, obviously, technique and strength and grit. I think if you're an NFL offensive lineman, you have to have all of those things. But I think the chemistry is a big deal. Whenever you get the right group of they are the tightest bunch in any team, the offensive line. And I think whenever you see them all on the same page, that's whenever you really have problems with everybody.
And like O-linemen, they are their own little cult on a football team. So chemistry is gigantic. That's why when you have a group of 5 guys that have been playing together for 15 games, and all of a sudden one of them gets hurt and is out, the new guy coming in, he better have some good chemistry with those guys as well, and they better trust him that they can count on him to do his job.
Yeah, that swing man or swing men, if it's 2 of them, they have to be just as if they're a starter, but basically they're on the sideline. They have to hang out with them. They have to be a part of it. That is that whole being on the same page with each other is so vital in the offensive line room. And whenever you see offensive lines that there's like, oh, we got a couple good guys on the offensive line, it's like, okay, so you guys have a terrible offensive line. That means that there's not, you know what I mean? It's the Colts' success. We have seen Chris Ballard has invested mightily in the offensive line. He's like, let's have success here. And Carson Wentz saw that, who didn't have one in Philly. I wish Andrew would have potentially turned the page because of the offensive line we had. But you look at the Chiefs, they just revamped their offensive line. Look at the Bucs offensive line. I mean, anybody that's good, that's worth a fuck, has a great offensive line. It's something you got to invest in. And maybe that's something Urban Meyer will work on this next offseason. Or maybe they have a great team that'll be able to come together in the offensive line.
Well, look at the Packers. Like last year when Bakhtiari got hurt, and then in the NFC Championship, Jason Pierre-Paul had like 45 pressures. Like it changed the entire outcome of the season.